Good morning, my name is Jimena Cruz and I present the work Data Mining Applied to Child Violence in Yucatan, carried out by research from the Autonomous University of Yucatan. We use technological tools to identify risk factors, violence against children in our region. Violence against children is a serious problem with profound consequences. Worldwide, the WHO reports that 1 billion children between the age of 2 and 17 suffer some form of violence annually. In Mexico in 2024, there were 2,243 homicides of minors and 9,868 disappearances. That is 7 children disappears every day, and 9,802 minors tried for sexual violence. 92% of them girls. In addition, 28% have experienced bullying. In Yucatan, specifically in 2022, there were 328 cases of family violence and 275 cases of sexual violence, ranking 13 nationally, and there were also 79 cases of physical violence. In conclusions, this urgent reality motivates our study. We set ourselves 4 objectives: identify risk factors through data mining, create different risk profiles and for target prevention, support institutional decision making with data-driven evidence, and to provide a methodological framework that can be replicated for other regions. We recognize that violence is multifactorial. Individual, family, community, and socioeconomic factors influence. We work with 3,943 preschool children from 30 institutions in 10 municipalities of Yucatan. We use a 55 items instrument administered by teachers to detect risk situations. It is important to emphasize that maintain total confidentiality. All personal data was removed. The process we applied was the complete KDD, selection, preprocessing, transformation, data mining, and interpretation. We prepare the data by correcting inconsistencies. We eliminate decimals in age, replace anomalous values with 0, and clean up spelling errors and standardize formats. We then make K transformations. We categorize the primary caregiver into A groups: the mother, father, both parents, grandparents, siblings, and others. We grouped health conditions into clinical categories, and we add municipal geolocations for territorial analysis. And this is how we obtain a clean and well-structured database to apply mining techniques. We applied 3 data mining algorithms. The first is G48 algorithms is decision trees classifies children into risk levels by identifying clear decisions patterns. And the second is K-means, is a algorithm of grouping. Identifies populations groups with similar risk characteristics. And finally is algorithms a priori, is the association. Discovers frequent relationships between risk factors. And in addition, we use two platforms. The first is Orange Data Mining for initial exploration, and the second is Weka for main analysis and validations of results. Right. The classifications model achieved an overall accuracy of 92.5%, which means that the model correctly classifies the vast majority of cases. It has an phi score 91.3%, which indicates a good balance between accuracy and completeness. And we observed that the tree generates 127 nodes and 64 leaves with 13 levels of depth. In conclusion, the model is robust and reliable for identifying risk levels. We identify clear rules, for example, for severe risk with 100% confidence in 68 cases. If the parents have poorly structured parenting, the family environment is highly unstructured, there is difficulty in supervising the child, and parental conflicts interfere with school, then there is a severe risk. For mild risk with 95.5% confidence in 3,371 cases, if the parents do not have poorly structured parenting, then mild risk is most likely. We identified that the most discriminating factor is the parenting structure. We identify two clearly differentiated population clusters. The cluster 0, there are 1,300 children with an average age of 4.6 years, with both parents as their main caregiver, with a parental education level of secondary school or less, risk score of 3.99. Then cluster 1, there are 2,643 children with an average age of 5.2 years, with the mother as their main caregiver and with a parental education level higher than secondary level. Risk score is 2.81. The differentiating factor was parental educational level, since there is a difference of 1.18 points in the average risk. And the important finding was that socioeconomic factors are more determinant than traditional indicators of specific violence. Here we have the results of the algorithm a priori. We generate 10,543 frequency groups of associations. The peak of complexity occurs with 5 simultaneous factors with 3,124 item sets. The dominant pattern identified was that between 96 and 99% of cases have not been institutionalized, and this is strongly associated with the absence of multiple risk factors. We can see in the top 5 best rules that the clear pattern is that the absence of parental conflict is a fundamental protective factor. The main findings of the study are four. First, the socioeducational factor is decisive. The educational level of the parents is the greatest differentiator of risk, more relevant than traditional indicators of specific violence. In second point, we identified a profile of socioeducational vulnerability. 33% of the population with the lowest parental education level has a risk score 42% higher than the other group. In third point, we have there is high homogeneity in the population study. 95% will classify as mild risk, which reflects a predominance of protective factors. And fourth, we identify clear protective factors, absence of parental conflict, family cohesion, and adequate supervisions. Data mining proved to be an effective tool for risk analysis of child violence, allowing the identification of complex patterns that traditional methods make miss. Our study shows that socioeconomic factors, especially parental educational level, require priority attention. In the design of prevention strategies, there is no singular approach. We need differentiated strategies according to the socio-educational profile of the families. In conclusion, this study demonstrates that data mating is effective for child's protections. We can create differentiated risk profiles and provide institutions with scientific tools for target preventions. We invited child protection institutions, researchers, and decision makers to use this framework to improve child's well-being. That is all from my part. I thank the participating institutions and teachers, experts in psychology who validate our results, and all the research for their support. I remain open to your comments, and thank you.